making students rich through agriculture. Funaab has been favored with unique excellence with well-serving and productive vice-chancellors, ranging from the first vice-chancellor in 1997, Professor Nuruddin Olorunimbe Adedipe, to the current vice-chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the sixth substantive vice-chancellor and current Southwestern Nigerian coordinator, who took over the baton of leadership on the 1st of November 2017 till date.
I'm Felix Kolawole Salako, born on April 18, 1961. So I'll be 60 in April this year. I was born and bred at Ebutemeta, East, Lagos. I attended two primary schools, Salvation Army Primary School, Freeman Street, Ebutemeta, and St. Jude's Primary School, also at Freeman Street, Ebutemeta. Then proceeded to the Apostolic Church Grammar School, Orishigi, for my school start. And that was where I did my West African School certificate examination. I came out with grade 1. That took me to Igbobi College for a year. Higher certificate class, but I spent only 1 year instead of 2 because I got admission at to study agriculture at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. So I started my bachelor's degree in 1978, completed in 1983. Went for National Youth Service in Ahmadu Bello University, Institute of Agricultural Research. And from there, I went back to Nsukka to obtain my master's degree in soil science, soil conservation precisely. After the master's degree, I worked as a consulting soil scientist for a private farm in Bodija, Ibadan. So from there, I moved to International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. I think that was 1989. I worked between 1987 and 1989 at the consultancy firm. Then proceeded to International Institute of Tropical Agriculture as a research associate in 1989. I spent 11 years there before I joined the Federal University of Agriculture at Doctor.
Teaching courses at undergraduate and postgraduate levels, Professor Felix Kolawole supervised more than 45 undergraduate projects and more than 30 postgraduate theses. He was an acting head of Department of Soil Science and Land Management from February 2001 to December 2006. He became a professor of soil physics in 2006. And he has to his credit more than 90 publications in learned journals, book chapters, conference proceedings, and technical reports. He moved on to become the Deputy Vice-Chancellor in December 2011 and spent 2 terms of 2 years each till December 2015. Journey as a Vice-Chancellor in Funaab, Professor Felix Salako gives details on what his office entails.
Let me say this, there's nothing unusual about any human being going through ups and downs. It's normal for life. The trajectory of life cannot be linear. So for anything that is not enjoyable, we should accept. For everything that is enjoyable, let us thank God for it too. So it has been a question of getting it right, having some people understanding you, and having some people misunderstanding you. And when you have people who misunderstand you, that creates obstacles, particularly in administration. And all your efforts, so you spend energy, more energy, trying to persuade people to really understand for you to really move forward. But I think the overall experience is that I've been very comfortable being in the Federal University of Agriculture. I think it's a place to be. And the Vice Chancellor is the chief executive, but the university system has to be is democratic and has to be democratic. You run the university using what we call the committee system. You gather opinions from different sets of people and synthesize them to move forward. Yes, you must have your initiative, you must have your vision, you must have your mission. And you cannot just come into the position without really being prepared for it. There is no university where a vice chancellor can be autocratic anyway. It has to be group work, but then a leader must define where the buck stops. A leader must define that. So even if you have people advising you, you take responsibility. So you take responsibility for your actions. So the vice chancellor must be a Democrat, number one. It must also have vision and mission to raise the standard in the university. It must discharge its duty fairly and truthfully. I think just what you expect from any chief executive of an organization. Provide leadership in such a way that you raise the standard of that organization beyond the level where you met it.
Professor Felix Salako also talked about Funaab being a place to be for students.
You will agree with me that as soon as you enter a gate, you love the environment. I mean, the green scene, the horticultural plants, and the architecture of some buildings. But beyond that, we need to talk about the content. Let me start with our students. We have a set of students who are well-behaved. Our students are well-behaved, and they are amiable. When you meet them on campus, you see that these are students who really are there with rules and regulations. And the same thing with the staff. Courtesy is always there. We don't have people who will shout at anybody, even when you don't know the person. In fact, that's when you should be extra careful. And the services would render. Yes, we still have our shortcomings. I'm not saying we're perfect in this regard. You may have one or two persons who are not really doing their job well. But majority of us try to do what is right at the right time. So one is comfortable with this kind of work environment because you are not just going to be the only person who will do the job. The vice chancellor is at the top. There are many layers before you get to the vice chancellor, and we incorporate it in our staff. Everybody matters, including the man who carries the mail. So if any segment of the chain is too weak, it will affect administration. Imagine if I am to receive a memo from the president today, and the clerk will not deliver it on time, and the president says, "Be with me tomorrow." That can be a disaster. So everybody matters in the system. And I think generally the staff work well, the students behave well. I've not said that we're 100% perfect, but I think by Nigerian standard, by international standard, this environment is good enough.
The Deputy Vice Chancellor gave insight on the development of the project and how the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, has been effective in Funaab.
Professor Salako, to mind assessment, is a quintessential leader. a proactive leader, an articulate leader. Leadership is not an easy task. It's always very easy when you are at the other side to criticize. But when you are to manage men and resources, and not just men this time around, you are managing students, you are managing intellectuals, then you are doing a great job. So Professor Salako is a proactive leader. He's one leader that is experienced. It's not easy to just wake up one day and want to be a leader. It doesn't work that way. He grew through the ranks too. He was a 2-term Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development. He sat on this seat for about 4 years. And he was also opportune to learn from 2 different Vice Chancellors with their various modes of governance. So he over time, he has developed himself. So he came into the administration well equipped. So he knows what to do and he knows how to do it, and he's a goal-getter.
So also, Professor Bolanle Akeredolu, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, also gave insight on the relationship and leadership skills of Professor Felix Kolawole Salako.
The Vice Chancellor is a very visionary person, a very hardworking man. I must say that, he has this way of always driving people to get results for what whatever he earmarks for people to do. So he is a very visionary person. He tends to see ahead, and in most things, most issues that we have handled, that's what we have discovered, that a lot of the time he would have taken certain steps, and then we find other universities also announcing it, and it's like, see what we had already thought about. But that's always because of the person.
The Bossa also talked about the ongoing projects done by Professor Felix Kolawole.
The chief executive officer is the drive. He's the one that drives the entire system, drives the workforce, drives the management team. And if you go to his 12-point agenda, when he started with us, it's all very clear the direction we wanted to go. And one of such is to ensure that, projects that are started are delivered, and that's what we are seeing. That's what we are seeing all over the place. If you ask me, I'll say it is the drive, because if the leadership is bad, then you cannot have this result. I mean, he's a tax driver when it comes to that. When it comes to, from the procurement itself, to the starting of the project, to the execution, from A to Z. And that is why the projects are coming up. There is no single struggling project among the new projects that we started here. And without necessarily making so much noise, it is the drive of the person at the head. We feel the drive. Everybody feels the drive. He's always going to inspect projects here and there. Always, in fact, within a quarter, many times he must go to see what they are doing there. He's not the one that sits down in the office and he goes out. He goes out from time daily. He's going about the campus, not even projects. He's always moving to see what is happening there, what is happening there, and what's happening. So, and the entire management keys into it, and there you have the results. So, kudos to me.
Dr. Bola Adekola, the Registrar, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, also spoke on how income generation has helped in the execution of projects.
Two things that could be said to have initially come into this was the situation of what do we have as available funds to achieve this, and how do we use the available fund to deliver. So because there are two things. When you talk about the projects on the campus, therefore, what I believe was done right by this administration under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor is to learn how to access funds. The available funds, be it TET fund, be it risk assessment, be it the capital fund allocation by the federal government in the yearly budget, we have successfully accessed them robustly in a way that they are deployed towards the expansion of these facilities that I earlier mentioned. And that, I believe, is the #1 success factor for the number of projects that are.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please, let's remain standing as the procession enters this auditorium, please. Let's remain standing, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please, let's stand and remain standing for the procession. At this juncture, there shouldn't be movement. Let's remain standing. Please let's remain standing for the procession as the procession is entering. It is the second day of our convocation ceremony, and today we are witnessing postgraduate convocation. At this juncture, we want to welcome the visitor to our university, and of course, the President and Commander of Armed Forces to this convocation ceremony. We want to welcome our own Chancellor, the Obong of Calabar, a highly revered monarch, His Eminence. To this second day of our convocation ceremony, we want to welcome all our principal officers, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, Professor Christian Obiora Ikeobi, and of course, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Development, Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde, the Registrar, Dr. Bola Akim Adekola, and of course, the Bursar of our university, Mr. Chukwuwike Ezekweyazo, and the University Librarian, Professor Feintola Onifade. We want to welcome all royal fathers and of course, top government functionaries, both from the federal, state, and local level. Please, at this juncture, as we remain standing, shall we take the national anthem, and thereafter we'll take the university anthem. But first, the national anthem.
Arise, Nigerians call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Funaab anthem.
Potential and faith.
Thank you, please. Let's be seated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, because of time factor, I won't be doing much of protocol. I will leave that to relevant authorities to do in the course of this convocation ceremony. But quickly permit me to acknowledge the presence in our midst of the following eminent personalities. First and foremost, we are privileged to have in our midst this morning the visitor to our university, and of course, the President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari CFR, being ably represented by Dr. Noel Abiodun Saliu, a very top official of NUC. Please, let's give him a round of applause. You are most welcome, sir. Glad to have you in our midst, sir. At this juncture, we are also pleased to inform you that we have with us, and he has been with us since the commencement of this convocation ceremonies, our home father, a highly revered monarch, our own amiable Chancellor, His Eminence, Edidem Ekpo Okon, Abbas 25, the Obong of Calabar. Please, let's give our Chancellor a thunderous applause. We have on our Chancellor's entourage this morning His Royal Highness Chief Edem Ita Ededem, who is one of the Chancellor's chief. You are most welcome, sir. We also have with us His Royal Highness Chief Ekpo O Achibong. You are welcome, sir. And of course, His Royal Highness Dr. Emmanuel AEE Achibong. You are most welcome. Chief Dr. Anthony P. Effium. You are most welcome, sir. And of course, Prince Emmanuel Ekpo O Abasi Otu. You are most welcome, sir. Of course, our principal officers led by Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the Vice Chancellor. You are welcome, sir. Professor Christian Ikiobi, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics. You are most welcome. Professor Babatunde Kainde, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development. You are welcome, sir. Of course, Dr. Bola Adekola, our Registrar. You are welcome, sir. Mr. Chukwuwike Ezekweazo, the bossal of our university. You are most welcome. And of course, Professor Feitola Onifade, our university librarian. You are most welcome. Please, in the course of the program, the relevant authority will acknowledge the presence of other eminent personalities that time won't permit me to go through at this juncture. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's set the ball rolling quickly because time is not on our side. I want to invite, for the conclusion of the convocation ceremony, our own Chancellor, His Eminence. Oh, sorry. Pardon me for that. I want to invite the university registrar right now to continue with the order of proceedings. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, the Chancellor, His Eminence, Edidem Ekpo Okon Abasu the Fifth, the Obong of Calabar, the Executive Secretary of National Universities Commission, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, all principal officers of the university, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, by the provision of the University of Agriculture Act of 1992, number 48, chapter F22, statute number 1, section 4, F and G, empowers the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, to hold examinations and grant degrees, diplomas, certificates, and other distinctions to persons who have pursued a course of study
approved by the university and have satisfied other requirements as the university may lay down, and to grant honorary degrees, fellowships, or academic titles. Section 5 of the same law provides that the Chancellor shall preside at all meetings of convocation held for conferring degrees when he is present. Mr. Chancellor, sir, I have the honor and privilege to respectfully invite you to constitute this assembly as convocation of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for the purpose of awarding higher degrees and diplomas. Mr. Chancellor, sir.
I hereby constitute this assembly as convocation of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for the purpose of awarding of higher degrees and diplomas. Thank you.
Honorable Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to call upon you to deliver your convocation address to this August assembly. Mr. Chancellor, sir.
His Excellency, the visitor of this great university, Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission. Please, all these dignitaries are represented by a member of the National University of Commission, by Dr. Salu, who is here present with us. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, all principal officers, members of the Senate, other pro-chancellors and vice-chancellors of sister universities, my Lord, spiritual and temporal, their royal majesties, highnesses and chiefs, deans of colleges, heads of departments, professors, academic, administrative, and technical staff of Funaab, beloved graduates, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I sincerely welcome you all to the 28th and 29th combined convocation ceremonies of our great citadel of academics excellence, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Funaab. In a special way, I appreciate the presence of the visitor to the university, ably represented by a member of NUC. I wish to congratulate the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kolawole Salako, principal officers, members of Senate, staff, students, graduating students of the university, parents, guardians. Let me first and foremost express my deep appreciation to the visitor to the university, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, ably represented here by a member of the NUC, for approving my reappointment as the Chancellor for another term. It is a rare privilege that I will never take for granted. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Your Excellencies and invited guests, our university has lived up to expectations in different spheres. We have won laurels, and confirmation from the right quarters clearly indicates that we are on track. The Vice Chancellor and management team have done very well in placing the university on the right path to academic excellence. I am proud to say that since my appointment as the Chancellor of this great university, Funaab has grown from strength to strength. Certainly, the sky is the limit for the citadel of learning to continue to work stronger. I consider it as a matter of utmost urgency to inform Your Excellency that this year is a transition year for the university, because many of the principal officers, including the Vice Chancellor, will be completing their tenures of office. There is a need to begin the process of appointing new principal officers. In actual fact, within the next few months, the process of appointing new principal officers should begin in earnest. I am proud to say that the university, over the years, has been transiting from one administration to another peacefully, smoothly, and without rancor. As much as we would have loved to ensure that this tradition of peaceful transition is sustained, the absence of a governing council has become a source of worry to all stakeholders. It may interest Your Excellency to know that since the exit of the 6th Governing Council on 6th of May 2021, the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, has been operating without a governing council. The situation is the same with all other universities of agriculture in the country. We are therefore pleading with Your Excellency to please reconstitute the governing council for this university as soon as possible to ensure a peaceful transition to at the management level. We are grateful for the visitors' anticipated immediate action on this issue. I wish to appreciate Your Excellency for the partial restoration of courses in one of our colleges that were delisted about 6 years ago. Our plea to Your Excellency is for the full restoration of all the other management courses so that the teeming population of our youth, far and near, will have access to tertiary education through these courses. Permit me to restate that the establishment of the State College was born out of the call for diversification of academic programs in specialized universities with assurance to retain courses in agriculture as the flagship in the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. The existence of the College of Entrepreneurial Studies is to add value to what we are doing because of the strong interrelationship between agriculture and management. I wish to express appreciation to the federal government for the increase in the capital budget, which has enabled the university to undertake the constructing of a dam to promote irrigation and water provision for the university community. Like Oliver Twist, however, we wish to request for better funding, especially to cater for the overhead expenditure of the university. I also wish to lend my voice to those of the committee of pro-chancellors on the need for the federal government to ensure adequate staffing of the universities. It is important, therefore, to ensure that the present ban on employment in our universities need to be lifted to ensure replacement of departed staff and upgrading the staffing levels in our academic departments and other units. There is also an urgent need for the federal government to have fulfilled engagements with all the universities-based staff unions to stem the tide of incessant industrial strikes and unrest, which seem to have become a relay race in the university system in Nigeria. There is no gainsaying the fact that the incessant strikes by the staff unions, due to the usual disagreements with government on issues of the welfare of their members, as well as issues of lack of work tools, are having crippling effects on the quality of education at the tertiary level. I also wish to appeal to all the staff unions to embrace meaningful dialogue in settling industrial disputes rather than embarking on frequent strike actions, which have debilitating effects on the system that their members are important stakeholders and should protect its sanity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once more, I express my hearty congratulations to all stakeholders in the university, parents, well-wishers, and most especially the graduates that we are celebrating today. I wish you all success as you continue your life endeavors and activities. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all.
Honorable Chancellor, sir, in the course of your convocation speech, the representative of the Executive Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakwa Abiodun MFR, came into our midst. The governor is ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu. Another distinguished personality that joined us in the course of the address is the representative of the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mrs. Oguntui Abimbola Omolara Folashade. Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Chancellor, sir, the persons who will be presented have fulfilled the requirements of the statutes and regulations of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and have been found worthy, both in character and learning, to be admitted to the higher degrees of their various colleges. I therefore want to call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, Professor O.B. Kehinde, to present to us and to the Chancellor in particular the graduates for higher degrees, masters and postgraduate diplomas of the university. Thank you.
Will the higher degree graduates, masters and postgraduate diplomas, please rise and remain standing. Higher degree graduates, masters and postgraduate diplomas, please rise and remain standing. Honorable Chancellor, sir, in the name of the postgraduate school and the authority of Senate, I present to you the following: those present and those unavoidably absent, whose names appear in this list and for whom I stand proxy, who have successfully completed their Master of Science, Master of Agriculture, postgraduate diploma degree examinations, and who have been found worthy, both in character and in learning, to be admitted to the degree of Master of Science, Master of Agriculture, postgraduate diploma of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Thank you, sir.
By the authority of Senate, I admit each of you to the degree of Master of Science and Master of Agriculture, to postgraduate diploma of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Congratulations and thank you.
Honorable Chancellor, sir, I also have the honor to invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development to come and complete his job by presenting those who are to be awarded the Doctor of Philosophy of this university.
Will the Doctor of Philosophy graduates please rise and remain standing? A round of applause for them. Honorable Chancellor, sir, in the name of the postgraduate school and the authority of Senate, I present to you the following: those present and those unavoidably absent, whose names appear in this list and for whom I stand proxy, who have successfully completed their Doctor of Philosophy degree examinations and who have been found worthy, both in character and in learning, to be admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Thank you, sir.
By the authority of Senate, I admit each of you to the degree of Master of Philosophy of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now, at this juncture, call the names of these graduates who will now file out as I call your name. You will file out and have a handshake with the Honorable Chancellor. Please arrange them. How do they file out? We have from the College of Agricultural Management and Rural Development. Okay. I will call your name individually, and as you hear your name, please, you will come out to have a handshake with the Chancellor of the university. So from the College of Agricultural Management and Rural Development, Ojo Olutuji Timothy, Ogundapo Rashidat Adetutu, Sanusi Raufu Olushola, Alabi Olajumoke Olanrewaju, Omofonwon Enogbayin Isaac, Adeosun Kehinde Grace, Adewale Olugbenga Charles, Ajayet Jerry Gankon, Oyeniran Stella Titilope. From the College of Animal Science and Livestock Production, Faje Mason Adeshola Josephine, Oni Olaniyi Ademola, Durojaye Olufemi James, Aboderin Ayobami Tohib, Rowaye Benro Aina, Jamiu Aziz Saudat Olaide, Ibrahim Oluwayemisi Titilope, Samson Yakma Sukumam, Adedeji Olayinka Yemisi, Adebisi Ibrahim Ademola, Ikume Timothy Tesega, Saka Aziz Abiodun, Oyaniran Damilola Kola, Akinlolu Adekunle Oluyemi. From the College of Biosciences, Babayemi David Oluwagbemi, Adeyi Olubisi Esther, Kehinde Abiodun Samuel, Akinloye Dorcas Ibukun, Metibemu Damilohun Samuel, Olanipekun Oyeyoyin Taiwo, Ore Ayokanmi, Oni Eniola Oluyemisi, Ogundipe Flora Olubunmi, Olanlege Abdulateef Olatunde, Adewale Adams Oladapo, Ojo Shalom, Ajayi Janet Opeyemi, Ogundairo Busirat Odunayo, Ajayi Oluwafemi Anthony, Ajayi Olufunmilola Omolade, Odoemene Simon Nayere, Okay. College of Engineering, Lasisi Dauda, Quadri Habib Adedeji, Adeshuse Olanrewaju Moses, Akintulaji Olushola Akinbolaji, Ajiboye Elijah Olusegun, Oladosu Ajayi Rosemary Nkese, Kuforiji Augustine Olusoji, Ajagbe Stephen Olubusoye, Alatise Segun Peter, Busari Akinloye Nureni, Akintayo Ibukunoluwa Abiola, Ojetokun Oluwapomile Tosin, Okimiji Oluwaseun Princess, Abdulsalam Sadiq Adisa, Hazan Isiaka Adio, Ogunbisi Mercy Adenike. From the College of Food Science and Human Ecology, Abdulsalam Rofiat Bolanle, Adeniran Olufunmilayo Elizabeth, Abegunde Títílọpẹ́ Adébùsọ́lá, Owóhorò Bùsọ́lá Ọmọ́wùnmí, Òwéhorò Bísọ́lá Ọmọ́wùnmí, Ìbídàpọ̀ Olúbùnmi Fabian, Olóròdé Ọmọbọ́láńlé Ọmọ́wùnmí, Ọ̀kẹ́ Emmanuel Kẹ́hìndé, Goríọlá Ọlájídé Rahman, Lábọ̀dé Ọládòyìn Jamiu, Ògúnwẹ̀mímọ́ Fúnmilọ́lá Ọmọlọ́lá, Ngozi Elizabeth Olúwafúnmiṣọ́, Adébùsóyè Michael Sunday, Ìlò Jùmọ̀kẹ́ Georgina. From the College of Physical Sciences, Oladipo Funmilayo Yetunde, Ilesanmi Nathaniel Yinka, Bámiṣayé Olúṣẹ́gun Àbáyọ̀mí, Jẹ́gẹ́dẹ́ David Ọláolúwa, Akínsípò Oyèṣọlápé Basirat, Aliyu Adija Ọmọtánwá, Ali Yakubu Adékúnlé, Aláràn Mistura Adùnní, Rajilawal Hanat Yétúndé, Ọ̀rúnṣolú Abdul Abiodun, Ayọ̀ Fẹ́mi Emmanuel, Adeleke Ọláwálé Joshua, Àyìndé Sẹ̀míù Akínpẹ̀lú, Adéyanjú Adétúnjí Adédọ̀tun, Daniel Ifeyinwa Eunice, Akínbọ̀ Báyọ̀ Johnson, Ìṣọ̀lá Shakirudeen Akínọlá, Adéníjì Múradéyọ̀ Ashifat, Ọláoyè Morónfólúwa Adéọlá, Ẹ̀múméjayé Kúgbèrè, Wálé Ọ̀rọ̀jọ Olúwaṣeun Ayọ̀bámi. From the College of Plant Science and Crop Production, we have Akinsanya Aminat Korede, Yekini Buliaminu Adeniyi, Ajao Fọlákẹ́ Olúbùnmi, Awójọdún Nímọ́tà Abọ́láńlé, Muhammad Ibrahim Gaba, Ọdúntàn Adébùsọ́lá Olúbùnmi, Akínyọdé Esther Tolúlọpẹ́, Mákindé Solomon Akínyẹmí, Òkèlọ́lá Fọlárìn Sunday, Ìyàndá Olúwamáyọ̀wá Joseph, Adéyẹmí Nurudeen Ọlátúbọ̀sún, Ọlágúnjú Solomon Ọládìméjì, Làbáíkà Ayọ̀dàbọ̀ Lẹ́àdí, Àńdónà Ọ̀sáhùmẹ̀ Tẹ̀sọ̀, Kolo Emmanuel, Falade Amos Akínkúnmi, Mésèlè Samuel Ayọ̀délé, Ọláyíwọlá Victor Àkànbí, Odúlátẹ̀ Lucia Ọmọlọ́lá, Àgbéyégbè Olúwadọlápọ̀ Ọlọ́ládé. From the College of Veterinary Medicine, Ọ̀para Evelyn Ọ̀nàjíọmọ, Olúwayínká Ẹniọpẹ́ Bámidélé. And we also have graduates from the Center of Excellence in Agricultural Development and Sustainable Environment, Jalo Mahmudu, Benga Ismaila, Akinola Temidayo Olajumoke, Alabi Joel Oluwatosin, Adebayo Mary Oluwaseun, Eberendu Nseobong Obioha, Olufemi Omowunmi Eunice, Popola Adeshola Abimbola, Obajuluwa Olushola Victor, Karim Simbiat Oluwabusayo. And finally, Adekeye Adetayo Bankole. Congratulations to you all.
May I further invite the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, Professor Obi Kehinde, to present the doctoral graduates for the 2018-19 session too.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chancellor, sir, please permit me to present graduates for the 2018-2019 academic session, the Doctor of Philosophy graduates. We have Adekunle Chioma Patricia, Onugbogu Onyiyechuku Hope, Abubakar Anu Rukayat, Aminu Folashade Oluremi, Adesanya Olukayode Samuel, Shobowale Adelayo Adefunke, Akinwalere Ifedayo, Popola Titilayo Elizabeth, Olupe Olufemi Oludele, Olumuji Emmanuel Olukunle, Abolude Abosede Tomilola, Imade Afiangbe Akube, Adeolu Modupe Esther, Lawal Oluwatosin Enitan, Shorongbe Taiwo Amidu, Kujero Bolade Olumayowa, Oyeleke Adetola Mayowa, Ademokoya Adeola Justina, Akinteyinse Olutunmise Victoria, Ilesanmi Funmilayo Florence, Omodara Olusegun Victor, Olorunniyi Omojola Felix, Babalola Ayodele Samuel, Mogaji Ahmed Oladeji, Kehinde Festus Olaseyinde, Ogundare Ayoade Benson, Nzebuka Gaius Chukwuka, Adeoyi Oluwatobi Opeoluwa, Adeniji Ayotunde Rotimi, Tope Ajayi Opeyemi Oluwaseun, Amujo Brenda Temitope, Ezenia Obioma Jennifer, Alamu Salaudin Abidin, Adejobi Mayowa John, Oku Chioma, Ojeagba Erere, Oyelakin Michael Oyeniyi, Ojo Oluwakemi Abosede, Bolajoko Opeyemi Oreoluwa, Akinbule Oluwafunke Opeyemi, Akiode Olubunmi Kolawole, Adeniji Rasaki Idowu, Ojo Kolawole Richard, Agbaoye Ridwan Olamide, Aluko Taiwo Joshua, Ogunsanwo Fidelis Olatoyose, Adeoye Olubusola Temitope, Olawale Success Olajumoke Oluwagbemisola, Oyetunde Oyeboade Adebiyi, and Adeniran Ayorinde David. Thank you very much. Congratulations to you all.
Honorable Chancellor, sir, it is now time to invite the Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, to deliver his convocation address. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir.
No, go to the track. The visitor to the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mahmoud Mahmoud Abubakar, who is ably represented here, Honorable Minister of Education, Alhaji Adamu Adamu, who is also represented here. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, who is also represented here by the Commissioner for Education. Members of State Executive Council, the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, who is also represented here by Dr. Sali, Chairman of Convocation and the Chancellor, His Eminence, Edidem Eko Okon Abasiochi, the Obong of Calabar, Your Royal Majesties and Highnesses, Pro-Chancellors and Vice-Chancellors from other universities, Principal Officers of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, members of Senate, Congregation and Convocation, members of staff and students of Funaab, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I consider it a great privilege to stand before this distinguished audience to present this address for the 28th and 29th combined ceremonies, convocation ceremonies. The 27th convocation ceremony held on January 28, 2020. A month after that, the world was locked down. We remain grateful to God that we are seated here to participate in this combined ceremony. This convocation is significant in two ways. It gives me joy that our Chancellor was reappointed by the federal government in 2021 for another term, so that we have the privilege again of having him as the chairman of today's convocation. I welcome His Eminence Edidem Ekpo Okon Abasiochi, the Obong of Calabar, to our university once again. Also, this combined ceremony is being conducted in the year amending my tenure as the 5th substantive Vice Chancellor of Funaab. I'm highly grateful to God and all people of Goodwill. Let me state that my first convocation ceremony, which I presided over in 2018, was held when there was a strike and deans and directors were not here. I'm rounding up with a strike. Deans and directors are not here. All glory to God. To me, it is good omen, because I will tell you what you have achieved between 2018 and now. On administration, I want to state that I've run an administration with the vision of participatory leadership. And in this respect, we had 54 meetings of principal officers. Or anything that we have achieved is we rather than I. "64 meetings of principal officers up to February 28, 2022. We had 18 council meetings,
And we have about 12 meetings with each union, staff unions and student union. Staff unions and student union, each of them 12 each. We have been talking about having peace, having that, it's about dialogue. It's about meeting people, discussing with them. On academics, we had full accreditation for 27 programs by the end of 2019 accreditation exercise. The outstanding accreditation that the part interim accreditation, they called it, and the others that were outstanding were held by the end of 2021. We are hoping that the results shall be positive. The outstanding ones included accounting, banking and finance, business administration, mechatronics, pure and applied botany, pure and applied zoology. Mechatronics actually had an interim accreditation, and they came back by the end of last year to consider us for full accreditation. Pure and applied botany, pure and applied zoology were courses that were lifted some years ago when we divided the College of Natural Sciences to College of Physical Sciences and College of Biosciences. So they are having accreditation for the first time. The accounting, banking and finance and business administration are courses that are still being run under the old College of Management Sciences for students who have not graduated when we had the approval to run management sciences. Now we don't have that approval. Fortunately, the National Universities Commission approved that we should continue with entrepreneurial studies in August 2021. And that necessitated the change of the name of College of Management Sciences to College of Entrepreneurial and Development Studies. So we are going to have a rebranded entrepreneurial studies, and it's going to be oriented towards practical, agricultural practicals in particular. One good thing that we had also going for us in 2021 is that we got approval to run geology as a course. So we have a department of geology in the Federal University of Agriculture. Another thing that we are going for us is that due to the fact that we equipped the College of Veterinary Medicine and College of the Veterinary Teaching Hospital, the Veterinary Council of Nigeria, Veterinary Medicine Council of Nigeria, approved that we should go ahead and increase the quota of admission from 30 to 60 for veterinary medicine. I want to tell you that you have X-ray for cows, dogs, and everything now, X-ray machines at the Veterinary Teaching Hospital. I want you to patronize that teaching hospital with all your animals. We also had the appointment of emeriti professors last year. Professor Michael T. Adetunji, who is seated here. Professor Ayoka Adebambo, who is also here. And Professor Adebambo is the first female to be an emeritus professor. I want you to check it. I'm highly inclined to having the female to hold responsible positions. And they've been winning football matches. On staff development, despite the lockdown in 2020, the university administration responded to a call by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund to universities for nomination of candidates for master's degree programs under the Agricultural Research and Innovation Fellowship in Africa. The timely responsiveness of our administration made it possible to obtain approval for 15 candidates, more than the 10 allotted to the university. And this is very significant for the postgraduate students. In 2019, when we employed quite a number of graduates of this university, some people challenged me and said we were doing inbreeding. I mean, as lecturers, we employed them as lecturers. But I told them that I will go ahead to ensure that we had diversified education for them. This is one of the moves. Out of the 15 candidates we recommended, please note, they said we should recommend 10. I recommended 15 in order to cover all the colleges. And by the grace of God, I got approval for the 15. 2 of them chose not to take up the scholarship, but 13 of them are now in Brazil. Some of them have even obtained their masters in Funaab, but they are going to get the second masters in Brazil. Exposure to international organizations, getting out of the system is something that should be additional for many of our graduates. It helps with the reorientation of the mind. It helps with taking you out of the Nigerian perspective only. When you have a PhD, it doesn't mean that you know something. You know something with your PhD. And that's why many international organizations, after PhD, you are a postdoctoral fellow. That means you are an apprentice somewhere under a leader who knows better. Please do not take your PhD as I know everything. I can even challenge those who taught me. PhD means you know something and you must endeavor to know more. So we're taking these students out of Nigeria consciously to ensure that they were going to get another orientation in an international organization. Let me also place it on record that some institutions sent people who didn't even need the additional qualification. We sent academic staff who will come back to teach with that additional qualification. That was the feedback we got from the students themselves from Brazil. On the staff development, we had also assisted both non-teaching and academic staff. And we had in 2021 a workshop stroke capacity building on university ethics, culture, and service delivery. The university also supported non-teaching staff to attend professional conferences despite its lean resources. All qualified non-teaching staff who desire to improve their academic qualifications were given approval to do so on part-time basis. If I ever turn down any request for part-time training, then something must be wrong with the person in terms of the regulation. You don't violate regulation to get anything. In October 2021, we had the 16th annual retreat of Association of Registrars of Nigerian University, right in this particular hall. And it was a way of building the capacity of our registry staff. Infrastructural development and provision of teaching and research facilities. By the last count, we have completed at least 25 new buildings. But we did not just complete 25 new buildings, we equipped them with furniture. We equipped them with laboratory facilities. We equipped them with teaching facilities, what they call smart board these days. In such a way that we can actually handle virtual learning. Given the perspective from the COVID-19 pandemic, you can be in our classroom and get your lectures virtually everywhere. Somebody told me from Cotonou yesterday that he watched our convocation ceremony live. our lectures can be delivered in such a way now. And we have started doing that since January 2021. Many of the buildings that we are talking about now are smart lecture, smart classroom, smart lecture delivery equipment. But yesterday we commissioned 5 of the buildings. One of them, the extension of the College of Engineering building, was named after Chief Dr. Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo. The other one, the extension of University Library, named after Wole Soyinka, is now Wole Soyinka Library. Another one today is named Suleiman Elias Bogoro Twin Lecture Theatre. I think by tomorrow, Professor Suleiman will be handing over as the Executive Secretary of TETFund. TETFund has done so well for this university. We honor Professor T.O. Tayo by having a Professor T.O. Tayo laboratory. Professor T.O. Tayo was a Deputy Vice Chancellor here and a professor in College of Plant Science and Crop Production. Also honored yesterday was Emeritus Professor Israel F. Adu, posthumously for that matter. But we thank God for his life. He was our Vice Chancellor. We renovated quite a number of buildings, among them animal science, engineering, Colem, AMREC, and ISERA. And today we are having under construction the College of Physical Sciences. College of Physical Sciences, we can call it a new college that was under the old College of Natural Sciences. And they actually need their own identification. I think before the end of my tenure, they shall be having their own building, College of Physical Sciences. This ceremonial building was named after Professor Oluwafemi Olayabalogun in May 2021. Also named in honor of a retired staff is what we call the Marble Hostel, or what we called the Marble Hostel. And that was named after the pioneer registrar of the university, Princess Bisi Shoboijo. That would be the first time a non-teaching staff would be so honored in this university. When talking about buildings, I've been challenged in a forum, and they say, you are talking about buildings, and what about the content? Let me tell you the content as postgraduate students. I want to say postgraduate graduates. Let me put it that way. Do not underrate our laboratories under any condition. I came with a vision of having a central laboratory, and that vision materialized, I think, by the end of 2019, when we actually constructed the Center of Excellence for Agricultural Development and Sustainable Environment Laboratory. A central laboratory, the essence of a central laboratory is for us not to waste resources. Why should we have a distiller in 48 departments, which is not being used on daily, weekly, or monthly basis, even yearly basis? Some people may not get to that distiller in each department. Why can't we have 1 or 2 in a central laboratory that will be used virtually all year, within the year? That's the idea of a central laboratory. Management of resources, management of other resources, electricity, equipment, and the rest. I want to tell you today, if you think that you need a state-of-the-art equipment to run your research, please go to Kadesh. Go to Kadesh. I also want to put it on record that when you design your experiments, do not design experiments that will take you to the moon to grow potato. You are still in Nigeria. Design experiments that will take you to Kadesh laboratory to use the equipment that we have. And apart from Kadesh laboratory, I mentioned the veterinary teaching hospital has been well equipped. We had a building called Veterinary Teaching Hospital. Today, between 2018 and 2022, we have equipped that place. Not just the Veterinary Teaching Hospital, but the College of Veterinary Medicine. It sounded like a joke, but animals too need X-ray machines. And we have bought X-ray machines for our animals. Some other equipment have been purchased for them. Then there are also colleges that we equipped in terms of laboratory equipment. College of Food Science and Human Ecology, and particularly College of Engineering. College of Engineering. I took special interest in mechatronics because it's an evolving discipline. And today, I'm comfortable with the kind of equipment we have purchased for mechatronics. It doesn't mean that we have purchased all, but I'm comfortable with what you have in mechatronics. And I'm comfortable with what you have in mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. I've listed quite a number of equipment here. X-ray diffractometer, and some other things, 16 there. There are more than that. I've only extracted what I need for this lecture. Yesterday, I told the story of my encounter in Cairo, first week in February. I went with some chief executive of agricultural institutions in Nigeria, courtesy of TEDFund. And we saw the idea was to build capacity to let us know what is going on in an African country in terms of laboratory facilities. And everybody was so excited. And I told them, look, we have it in Funaab. They couldn't believe it. Somebody said, is it functional? Somebody said, is it functional? And I got angry with that statement. I got very, very much angry with that statement. Look, Dr. Saliu is laughing. Immediately, I got information. He was there with us. So please do not underrate your university, and do not demarket your university. You are postgraduate students, or you have graduated with PhD, masters, and the rest of it. You have a lot of things at stake. Go to our laboratories and check. We are not just having buildings, we are having equipment and others. We have also not been backward in terms of equipping the farms, the environmental management units. People come into this campus and say your campus is beautiful. If we don't have equipment to maintain the lawns and the rest of it, it can't be beautiful. I give credit to all the workers in that unit. And let me say this is part of the speech. We had a farm established because of COVID-19 issue. We anticipated that there would likely be hunger in 2020 because farmers could not go to work. And we challenged the Center for Agricultural Kadesh. We challenged them, go and establish a farm for the purpose of mitigating the negative effect of COVID-19. They did. And we harvested the cassava they planted late last year. We processed the cassava at our industrial park unit to fufu and gari, and we considered it fit to give some casual workers in the environmental management unit and among the security men. That was what we did with the palliative. So we want to thank them. There are so many people at the lower level that have really made it work. So when we talk about our administration, everybody is part of our administration. The Center for Entrepreneurial Studies was also equipped with equipment for fashion design, shoemaking, hairdressing, textile production, micro-integrated agro-industrial park, catering, and hotel management. Let me talk about the university dam now. In 2018, we started our project on the university dam. That dam is ready at the Okpeji end of the university. Anybody who has the resource can visit it. We have a dam now, a university dam at the Okpeji end of the university. Very close to it is an irrigation farm that has been equipped with a sprinkler irrigation facility. The next stage of what we are working on now is getting that water to campus. Getting the raw water to campus. And we are going to do that anyway. We are bringing it down to a rehabilitated water treatment plant. There was a Funaab or UNAB that had potable water being supplied to campus from Iberekodo. But everything went up more than a decade ago. The water treatment plant decayed, the water reservoir decayed, but they are functional now. If you want to see them, please go near Works and Services. They are very functional now, the water treatment plant and the reservoir. By the time we are ending up with the dam, raw water will come into campus and it shall be processed at the water treatment plant. We thank God for the provision of resources to get us this far. We did not miss any staff promotion exercise since we came on board. And we are still going to do more this year and very soon with regards to conversion and upgrading. Our students, please note, when we say student welfare, I didn't include postgraduate students. So don't be annoyed. So, but we have a vibrant student division, student affairs division, headed by Professor Adebukunla Omemu, the first female dean of student affairs. I told you that I'm inclined towards empowering women, and that's why I belong to their football club. She has been doing very well by being in constant touch with the student, more as a mother than a professor. And our students are now participating in NUGA, 7 sports out of the 10 they competed for. They left yesterday. I'm expecting them to come back with their laurels. On community relationship, the university happened to be the only university that gave palliative, the first institution, not the only, the first institution in Abeokuta that will recognize the police for palliative in May 2020. We were there. Our police post or police station there, we were there. So we gave what we produce for now products. And we were at different communities, Odelemo, Odogbolu, Ishaga Orile, Imeko, Ake community in Ake Palace. That was the way we mitigated against hunger during COVID-19. We also dug boreholes at Mawuko, Okpeji, and Olonshogo communities. There is no way I will go as a Vice Chancellor without appreciating the Alake of Egbaland, who has not just been a royal father, but a father. We must also acknowledge Agura Ogbaguraland, we are here seated on Bagura land. Funaab is part of Bagura land, but it's now federal government land. So the Agura cannot claim it back. But we must keep appreciating him for the support we have enjoyed from him. Today, the postgraduate degree awardees for 2018-2019 and 2019-2020 included PhD, Master, Academic, Master Professional, and Postgraduate Diploma and MBA. There were 450 postgraduate awards in 2018 and 2019, and 272 in 2019-2020 in the respective sessions. There were 123 and 75 PhD degrees awarded for the respective sessions. As I have admonished you, PhD does not mean the end of knowledge. PhD does not mean that you are excellent in knowledge. PhD means that you are starting to learn something. Concluding remarks. The achievements under our administration, please mark it, our administration, including you, have been possible with the grace, mercy, and favor of God. Let me re-emphasize that. I've come this far with the grace, mercy, and favor of God. We cannot also ignore the contributions from people of goodwill, including our staff, students, community leaders, and security agents. Who is a Funaab stakeholder? Yesterday, I was even referring to the primary school students who are here, the secondary school students, Funaab, who are here. This morning, I saw babies with their mothers, either running after daddy or running after mommy, who were coming to earn higher degrees. I hope you will share the degrees with them. Because I know somewhere along the line when you are studying, you took time of them. They are stakeholders. They are stakeholders, the babies. I'm sure some of you cannot even keep them. Those of you who are graduating, who are in Ghana, you can't keep them beside you now. And the baby will probably be crying for mommy to come and carry him or her. Our family members are stakeholders in the Funaab project. This is why Funaab must not go down. The extent of being a stakeholder is large. It's not just you as students. It's not just us as staff. It's about a community that is larger than life. Let us imagine, the other day we read about Gidesh wanting to leave Nigeria. Let us imagine that all the companies that were in Nigeria are still here. We will not be talking about looking for employment for PhD holders or master's degree holders. This is why every institution must be sustained in terms of progress. I'm pleading with you as alumni of this university to stop the idea of the marketing this university online. Breaking news. Funaab students under NSAS had a problem in Lagos. How did that relate to Funaab? That it had to be Funaab student. And some people get excited about publishing all these things. The internet doesn't forget. Everything you place on the internet will be there forever. And when somebody Google Funaab, some of those things will come up. Why must it be negative about Funaab? I plead with the alumni to hold the sanctity of this tertiary institution called Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, very high. We shall keep holding it very high because we have a lot of stake here. Just as I said, the babies who came here today with their parents have a stake in Funaab. All of us are. I'm going to end this talk by reciting a poem by Max Ehrman, written in 1927. The first time I came across that poem was 1994, and it was published by the Guardian newspaper. Then they went through the AMA. Guardian newspaper was shut down in August 1994. I think they reopened them October 1994. I'm stuck with that poem because of the message that it carries. Let me read it, please. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even to the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. In fact, what they call knowledge management these days is for you to learn how to listen to everybody, but decide what you need from everybody. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. I can tell you that. Quite a lot of propaganda this place. Oh, the Vice Chancellor is earning this allowance. As if I gave it to myself, and some people put it on the internet. I could not imagine it. I'm just one Vice Chancellor out of about 200 Vice Chancellors in Nigeria. But the one in Funaab must be placed on the internet. So avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always, there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Think about those you are better than, and think about the fact that you have your own life to live. Do not compare yourself with others. Know who you are. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. But be yourself. Be yourself. Know who you are. Can we imagine a situation where 17-year-old babies, let me put it that way, are looking for money and they go into rituals? The other day, I think a 17 or 18-year-old girl was being interviewed. You want to sell a baby out. What do you do with the money? She said, I will buy a car. A car. She probably did not think about the fuel, the cost. Neither be cynical about law. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Engage yourself in something. Engage yourself. I know it's a difficult advice. Yesterday, the convocation lecturer asked the undergraduates, do you want challenges? Majority of them said no. Whether we like it or not, there will be challenges. I have my own challenges now. Beyond awesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe. no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. I want you to know this. You have a right to be here. Nobody should question you about your space or not. About 300 million Nigerians. As long as the person is born in Nigeria, you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God. Be at peace with God. The next one, whatever you conceive him to be. Irrespective of your religion, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. The spiritual aspect is very important for peace to reign in your heart. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all this sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, we have a beautiful world. Be cheerful, try to be happy. I've graduates, PhD holders, master's degree holders, postgraduate diploma, MBA. Be cheerful, try to be happy. Thank you very much.
Can we give our Vice Chancellor another round of applause, please? Mr. Chancellor, sir, let me quickly recognize the presence of some dignitaries that have joined us in the course of this event. We have with us the chairman of the Ballet in Council of Lekki LCDA in Lagos and the Ballet of Igbo Lomi Kingdom, Chief Tajuddin Olorungbeminiyi Adams. We have with us Emeritus Professor Ayoka Adebambo, Emeritus Professor Michael Adetunji. We have with us a pioneer registrar of Federal University of Petroleum Technology, Iforun, and the retired director of our public relations, Dr. Linda Owunka. The former university librarian of this great university, Dr. Mrs. Mulikat Salam. And we also have with us an ambassador of peace of the United Nations, Ambassador Professor Tunde Ajiboye. Also with us is Olu of Ekpe and his Olori, His Royal Highness Oba Shefiu Adewale. We have earlier recognized the presence of the representative of the governor, the Minister of Agriculture, and the high chiefs and His Royal Highnesses that followed the Chancellor to this August gathering. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for goodwill messages. And I will invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, to come and take the goodwill messages of visiting Vice Chancellors from other sister universities and institutions. The representative of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Temitayo Ewemuje, is with us. We also have with us the representative of the Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, Dr. Adigun Olayiwola. We have with us the representative of the Vice Chancellor of Chrisland University, Abeokuta, Professor Chingul Balogun. We have a commemorative plaque from the Committee of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities, recognizing our convocation as being presented today. And this is a commemorative 68th anniversary of university education in Nigeria. We also have with us Dr. Mrs. Yetunde Lanre Yoda, representing the acting rector of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Abeokuta. And also Dr. Godwin Olusegun Oyewole, representing the Provost, Federal College of Education, Abeokuta. Honorable Chancellor, sir, like I said, it was the time for goodwill messages, and I want to invite the representative of the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mrs. Ogunmoyiwa Abimbola Omolara Folashade, to come and present the goodwill message of the Honorable Minister of Agric and Rural Development.
Let me start by saying my name is Ogutuyi Abimbola Omolara Folashade, and I'm here representing the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, the person of Dr. Mahmoud Muhammad Abubakar. I want to start by standing on the existing protocol, but I must have great respect for His Eminence, the Obong of Calabar, Edidem Ekpo Abasiotu, 5, the Vice Chancellor of this great university, the visitor, the person representing the visitor to this august occasion, the goodwill message from the Honorable Minister to the graduates. I want to first start by saying congratulations to all graduates. I want to also congratulate the parents, the guidance, and all the lecturers that have nurtured you to achieve this feat. The country is expecting so much from you. The way your parents, your guidance, your lecturers, this institution is putting so much on your shoulder. We're looking forward to you moving forward in life and exploring new grounds. You must break forth. It is a must to become the best among your peers. Please, I beg of you, do not bring shame to this institution. Just like your Vice Chancellor said in his speech, everything that will portray your institution must be your watchword. There is nowhere you go. From now on, this is the beginning of your life, your alma mater. No place is sweeter than home. And this is going to be your reference point. Be very careful with how you put your name and the name of your school forward. Shun from vices that will bring shame to the school. That I personally beg of you. Please, hold the sanctity of this institution to the highest. For me personally, I want to wish you all the best in life. And as the saying goes, the sky is your beginning. So you have to work hard to achieve and become the stars in the sky. To this end, please, I want everybody, if you know your graduates today, please make sure you go back to the poem the Vice Chancellor read for you. That poem is filled with wisdom, is filled with knowledge that will give you direction in life. It's on this note I say thank you. God bless the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. God bless our nation, Nigeria. Go into the world and succeed. Bless you.
Honorable Chancellor, sir, I want to quickly recognize the presence of a former Deputy Vice Chancellor Development of this university, Professor O.J. Ario. It is my honor to invite the representative of the Governor of Ogun State, His Excellency Dr. Dapo Abiodun MFR, who is ably represented by Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, the Honorable Commissioner of Education, to give his goodwill message.
The Chancellor of the University, His Royal Highness. I also want to recognize and acknowledge the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of education ably represented, recognition to the Executive Secretary of National Universities Commission, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Salako, congratulations, sir, and the entire management of the university, members of Senate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, graduates of today. It's a pleasure to be here representing His Excellency Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun MFR, the Executive Governor of Ogun State, who would have loved to be here personally, but due to other important state engagements. I bring goodwill from His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State. He said I should congratulate the university. We congratulate the entire management, staff, and students of Funaab on the occasion of the combined 28th and 29th convocation ceremonies of the institution. Funaab has come a long way. It started as one of the 4 demerged specialized universities in 1988. And Ogun State is very proud to be the home of this iconic citadel of learning and center of excellence in agriculture. Indeed, Ogun State has benefited immensely from the establishment of this institution in Ogun State. I use this opportunity to also congratulate all the graduates of today, parents, children, because some of these people are also parents, and all well-wishers of the university. We pray that Funaab will continue to grow from strength to strength, and it will continue to be a leading light, particularly in the field of agriculture and other areas of human endeavor. Congratulations, Funaab. Continue to march on. Thank you very much.
That was the voice of the representatives of the student union, their Luther commanders. Honorable Chancellor, sir, I now have the privilege and honor to call upon the visitor of the University, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by Dr. Saliu, to deliver his convocation address. Mr. President, sir.
Thank you very much. Please may be seated. His Excellency the Executive Governor of Ogun State, ably represented by the State Commissioner of Education, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, ably represented, the Chancellor, His Eminence, Ebidan Ekpo Okon, Abasi Otu V, the Obong of Calabar, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole, please pardon me to stand on the already established protocol as I deliver the address of the visitor to the University of Agriculture and President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. I am particularly delighted to be part of the 28th and 29th convocation ceremonies as a visitor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State. I rejoice with the entire members of the university community on this memorable occasion. I felicitate in a special way with the Chancellor, His Eminence, the Obong of Calabar, Ebidem Ekpo Abasiotu V, for his reappointment as the Chancellor of the university. I also felicitate with the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, the principal officers, members of Senate, staff, students, graduate students of the university, parents, guardians, honorary awardee, well-wishers, and dignitaries of on this convocation ceremonies. I sincerely congratulate the new graduates on this joyful day and felicitate with them on the successful completion of their various courses of study in the university. The nation, your parents, guardians, and teachers are proud of you because you have put in your best and found worthy in character and learning to become graduates of this great university. I challenge you to put in practice the knowledge, expertise, and skills that you have garnered from the university. Let them be the strong pillars on which you will build your future. Just as education is very important in the life of any individual, it is also the bedrock of national development. It is because of this truism that the federal government has been working tirelessly to ensure that education is made accessible to as many Nigerians as possible through adequate funding and favorable policy. The government is not unaware of the infrastructural deficit in the education sector, particularly in the universities. It is for this reason that deliberate and sustained efforts are being made to surmount these challenges to guarantee the provision of quality education for the people. Recently, the federal government had declared an emergency in the education sector. This declaration has started yielding fruits to ensure that we do not go back to the era where not much premium is placed on the critical sector. The federal government will ensure the full implementation of budgetary allocations to education in the 2022 fiscal budget. Let me reiterate the need for our universities and other tertiary institutions of learning of the imperative of adjusting to the ever-increasing demand of our modern-day world by repositioning themselves and encouraging impact education, I beg your pardon, that will bring about sustainable development. Without education playing this catalytic role, not much development can be recorded by any nation. Universities should be the vanguard of research, teaching, and community service in line with their tripartite mandate. Our ivory towers, as citadel of learning, should take the lead in championing demand-driven research that will serve society in making human lives better and enriched. We recognize the place of our intellectuals to undertake cutting-edge research that will address the challenges of development. It is regrettable that most of the outcomes of numerous research and studies carried out as well as findings from presentations made by our scholars at national and international conferences usually end up on the shelves of their respective authors, supervisors, departmental or faculty libraries, and others, other university archives. We acknowledge that our advancement as a nation will be driven by a robust human resource base. It should be our collective determination to do our best to guarantee a peaceful and stable future for Nigerians through quality education. We shall continue to interface with the staff unions in the universities in a bid to ensure that we have a stable higher education sector that positively contributes to national and global competitiveness. We are aware that for universities to achieve their mandates, huge investments is needed in this regard. In as much as government is willing and desirous of funding its universities, the respective institutions should take a step further and evolve creative means of supplementing what they receive as allocations and grants from the government. Beyond funding, the quality of education must be up to standard. By adapting our curriculum to meaningful change, our universities should be able to produce sound graduates that would be marketable, globally competitive, and relevant. This can only be achieved if the universities run an all-embracing curriculum that is rich, globally compliant, and locally relevant. The current administration under my leadership will give maximum support within the available resources to every planned and sincere effort that is geared towards self-reliance and job creation. The ability to create jobs is one of the parameters that characterizes a buoyant economy. In other words, an economy in which most of its youth and young persons are self-employed can literally be described as prosperous. This is the driving force behind the reorientation of the Nigerian youth towards developing an entrepreneurial mindset, as this is vital to poverty reduction and wealth creation. The truth is that there is an urgent need to replace the aging population of farmers in the country if we are to achieve our food security targets to cope with the rapidly increasing population of Nigeria. The government will always ensure that agile youth in the country are gainfully employed to reduce youth restiveness, because an idle hand will certainly be counterproductive. Collectively, we must actively promote and enhance the teaching and learning of entrepreneurial skills in our educational institutions, thereby exposing our youth to the basics and rudiments of starting and sustaining their businesses. Specialized universities like the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and others should leverage on their core mandate to produce graduates that will be good entrepreneurs in the spirit of the diversification program of the federal government. Let me assure our graduates that as you make your ways into the world beyond the ivory towers, my administration is committed to providing the enabling environment that will guarantee that the skills and knowledge you have acquired are particularly put to use. While many of you will be gainfully employed in the public and private sectors, some of you may choose to explore the entrepreneurial route of small and medium-scale businesses. The knowledge and competencies you have developed in the course of your acquiring your degrees, diplomas, and certificates are to be applied to the noble cause of national development. Let me say that the inability to provide jobs for all graduates is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. No country has all the means to do so. What you need to do is to identify your interests, look out for opportunities around you, and explore them to make a difference. Already, there are a number of programs that have been put together to promote youth development in Nigeria through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Central Bank of Nigeria, that is CBN Anchor Borrowers Program, Bank of Industry, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, National Director of Employment, Industrial Training Fund, Bank of Agriculture, Youth Empowerment Scheme, Youth and Women Empowerment, Empower, and the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme, among others. Nigerian universities should also build closer and better relationship with industrial sector, as this will help to bridge the gap between theory and practice, with a view to addressing some of the most important and urgent needs of our nation. A university degree is not a meal ticket. Rather, a rich degree or diploma should assist the holder to grapple with the challenges of life. You are also being cautioned that university degrees not usher you into completely rosy life. Rather, it equips you with the competence to grapple with the ever-changing challenges of life, of which youth employment is one source of concern. Universities of agriculture, by virtue of their mandates, are meant to aid the diversification of our economy, which is currently heavily dependent on crude oil. Agriculture remains a flagship and critical sector of our economy, both for reducing our dependence on imported food and stimulating agro-industrial development. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development should continue to work harmoniously with the universities of agriculture to restore agriculture to its rightful place in the Nigerian economy. The Nigerian Agriculture Promotion Policy 2016 to 2020 has made positive impact in national development. More than ever before, we can count our gains in terms of reorientation and taking agriculture to its pride of place within these parameters. 1, agriculture as a business. 2, agriculture as key to long-term economic growth and security. 3, the value chain approach. 4, climate smart agriculture. And 5, viable options to diversification. As partners in the Nigerian business, the private sector is encouraged to join hands in assisting government to build a virile economy. Permit me to restate that the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, is living to expectations through some of its unique programs, such as the community-based farming scheme, which serves as an outreach platform to promote students' involvement in farming by making them live among the rural communities in various parts of Ogun State. Let me encourage you to do more to foster the existing relationship between town and gown. Government is equally impressed with the laudable feats recorded by programs such as the World Bank Center of Excellence for Agricultural Development and Sustained Environment. To turn these interventions into meaningful ways of life, we must make concerted efforts to reorientate our people towards cultivating the habit of growing what we will eat and shun the penchant for eating foods that we do not grow. It is instructive to note that Funaab has played a prominent role in the promotion of cassava as a value crop all over Africa. This is commendable. Let me add that no nation can achieve greatness in an environment where corruption thrives. The war on corruption can never be fought and won by the government alone. We are all stakeholders in the future of our dear country. Universities should therefore be at the forefront of the fight against corruption, and this can be achieved through enthronement of the culture of discipline, hard work, honesty, and inspirational leadership. University administration should always endeavor to be the shining light by subscribing to prudence, transparency, accountability, and fairness in the management of human and material resources. My administration will not relent in its commitment to follow due process, preserving the sanctity of the rule of law, fighting corruption, securing the lives and properties of our people, and rehabilitating or upgrading our critical infrastructure. We are determined to enthrone hard work and honesty as a way of life in our dear nation, in building, in addition to placing the welfare of our citizens above everything else. We must all join hands to take Nigeria to the next level of development. Once again, I charge the Chancellor, His Eminence, the Obong of Calabar, Ebidem Ekpo Okon Abasi Oto V, Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, and members of the university community to sustain their commitment to the overall development of Funaab and by extension, Nigeria. Thank you and God bless. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chancellor, sir, I'm privileged to inform you that we are at the end of the convocation ceremony. I now wish to invite the Chancellor to declare the convocation ceremony closed.
I hereby declare the 28th, 29th convocation ceremony closed. Thanks be to God.
I think we should give a round of applause to God, to the management, to the Chancellor, to all our eminent guests, to all our graduates, and to everybody here. I want to quote the word of the Vice Chancellor. The grace of God has done it again. Isn't it? The grace of God has done it again. If you believe, say yes. The yes have it. Well, on that note, we are joining the curtain of the 28th and, of course, 29th combined convocation ceremony of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. But please permit me to quickly announce that immediately after this closing ceremony, there's going to be a luncheon for specially invited guests at the International Scholars Center of our university. International Scholars Center, I repeat, International Scholars Centers of our university, and it's meant basically for a special guest. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, shall we rise first for Funaab anthem, then thereafter the national anthem.
Great anthem,
the national anthem.
Arise, O patriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, to serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Thank you so much. Please, I want to plead with us to allow eminent personalities on this side of the auditorium to referently file out. Let there be no movements as they are getting out of this auditorium. We want to appreciate the representative of our visitor and the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. We appreciate you, sir. We appreciate the representative of the Minister for Agriculture. We appreciate our own Chancellor, a father indeed, a father in many ways. Sir, we thank you a bunch. The Vice Chancellor, it has been yet another success story. It has been successive success stories since you assumed the mentorship of our university. We appreciate you. We appreciate the support of the entire management team. We thank all our guests that are here from near and wide. We want to appreciate everybody, the academic procession. We sincerely appreciate you, all the graduates. We want to say a very big congratulations to you. You have added glamour, you have added value to this closure of 28 and 29 combined convocation ceremony. Please, if you are specially invited for this closing convocation ceremony, I want to inform you that there is a befitting and sumptuous luncheon for you at the University International Scholars Center. Thank you once again for coming. We look forward to yet another convocation ceremony in the annals of the history of our university. This is Funaab, the best university in Nigeria. This is Funaab, a university that is committed to academics and moral excellence. This is Funaab, a university that is committed to infrastructural development. This is Funaab, from glory to glory, from grace to grace, from strength to strength, from height to height. And please, graduates, feel free to invite people to join you. You cannot finish that food alone. You can't finish the food alone. Feel free to invite as many as possible to join you in devouring your sumptuous and delicious meals. Mrs. Kawade is already telling me that she's going to join. Please, Mrs. Sholanke, your purse is here. Probably you have been looking for it. Mrs. Sholanke, your purse is here. There is some of 1 million naira in it. Come and collect it quickly. Mrs. Sholanke, please. $1 million is in this purse. Mrs. Sholanke, lost and found. Lost and found. Please come with evidence. Come with evidence. So, if you are the owner of this purse, come with your international passport. Let's go.